Hello everyone, it's Anna and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you a very crazy story that happened to me in New York City. So without further ado, let's just get into the story. Alright, I'm gonna start off by giving you guys a little bit of background to the story. So one of my best friends goes to college down in New Jersey, and she had asked me to come and visit, and we were gonna go to an A Boogie concert. So I was like, yeah, I'll come down, let's go, that'll be fun. It gets to the date where I'm supposed to go down, and I go down there, and I get there, and whatever, we're getting ready to go see A Boogie, and let me just say, it was Friday the 13th, so bad things were just bound to happen to us. It started off, we had good luck at first, and then everything just started going wrong. So we got locked out of her dorm room right when we were about to leave to go catch the bus over to the train station. So we missed the bus over to the train station and we got locked out of the dorm. We almost missed the train because we missed the bus over to the train station. And then on top of that, we almost missed the train because one of our friends forgot their ticket in the car that we drove over in. We almost missed the train, but we didn't. We hopped on the train, went into the city. We were fine. We're waiting in line for the A Boogie concert, and the A Boogie concert was inside of a club. So we get into the club, we're waiting for A Boogie to come on, and while we're in there, me and Madison, which is my best friend that I went down to visit, got thrown up on. So that was another bad thing that happened to us. And then the A Boogie concert went on. We left at around 2 or 3 in the morning. So we're trying to find a taxi that will bring us over to the Shoe Fly. The Shoe Fly will take us from the city to the college. So we need a taxi to get to the Shoe Fly, which is by the World Trade Center. We're trying to get all these taxis, and none of the taxis will take us because we have 5 people and most of the taxis only carry 4. We finally find a guy that's like, okay, yeah, I'll take you over there. We hop in, we're like, okay, do you know where the Shoe Fly is? And he's like, yeah, I know where the Shoe Fly is. And we're like, okay, we need the one by the World Trade Center. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. We're in the taxi where we drive over and he drops us off and we're like, thanks. So we get off and we're looking around and we're like, this is not the Shoe Fly. This is not where it is. Where is it? And he dropped us off at the subway. So we go down into the subway to look at the map, kind of to see where we are and see if we're like close to the World Trade Center, if we could walk there, if we're gonna need to get another taxi. And this really creepy man is down in the subway. He's looking at us and he starts walking towards us. And we get really creeped out because we're like, okay, this man is like staring at us. He's starting to walk towards us. So we walk up the stairs like back to the main, the subway's like underground. We walk back up and we're standing up at the top of the subway. And I'm typing into my phone, trying to see where the Shoe Fly is, trying to see if we could walk there, how far away it was. So I type it into the GPS on my phone and it was like a 5-minute walk. So we're like, okay, yeah, we can definitely make it there, let's walk. So we're walking and this guy comes out of the subway and he starts following us. He's a pretty good distance behind us. So we're like, oh, maybe he's not following us. He'll probably just take a turn. It's fine. And so we're walking. I don't know if you guys know the GPS on the iPhones. It's kind of weird when you're walking. It tells you to go in all different directions. It'll say like take a left and you take a left and then it'll redirect itself. So we were like walking in circles and this guy's still following us. He's a really far distance behind us, but he's following us. We're like starting to get scared because we're like, okay, this guy's not turning. He's definitely following us. And we weren't really paying attention, and this guy ends up getting super close to us and we're like, oh my god, we're trying to walk quick. And he starts saying execution on the site or execution in sight. I don't really know. I couldn't really understand which one it was, but it was one of those. It was either execution on the site or execution in sight. We were just like, okay, we need to run. We need to get out. We need to get away from this guy because he wouldn't run. And keep in mind, we have heels on, so we can't run that fast. So we're running and he's really far behind us because obviously he's not running. So he gets quite a distance behind us and we start taking our shoes off because we're like, if we need to sprint, then we're not going to be able to sprint in heels. So we take our shoes off, we start running again, and we get to this T, like it's like a T in the road. There's a T in the road like this, and here's the sidewalk, we're walking up the sidewalk, and we get to this T in the road, and he's pretty far behind us, so we're like, okay, it's fine. This little black square right here is a cop car. So we're like, okay, should we tell the cop that this guy is following us? Oh, I forgot to mention, these little X's here are construction workers, and there's a bunch of construction going on right in that area. And so we cross the road, and we're standing right here on this corner. And the guy who's following us crosses the road this way, and he crosses over here, and he's behind the construction people just staring at us. So we're standing in a little circle with our little group of friends, and we're debating on whether we should tell the cops or not, because obviously this guy's following us. We're scared, we're creeped out. So apparently one of Madison's friends from college decided that we were taking too long to make a decision on whether to tell the cops or not. So she crosses the road and confronts this guy, and she's like, hey, she starts screaming at him. She's like, hey, is there a reason why you're following us? All this crap. And he makes a gun with his fingers, and he's pointing it at her, and he's calling her like a stupid and all this stuff. And construction workers start pulling them away from each other, and they're like, stop, you shouldn't have confronted him, like, what are you doing, blah blah blah. And that's the point where we told the cops, because we didn't want it to escalate any farther than that. So we go up to the cops, and we're like, hey, like, this guy's following us, he's right over there. So they get out of their car, and they look over to see who it was, and they were like, oh, it's that guy. And we were like, yeah, like yeah, it's that guy. And he sees the cops get out of the car, and he starts walking away, and he walks back into the subway, and the cops turn to us and they say, oh, it's fine, he went back into the subway, probably won't come out, do you have a ride back to where you're going? And we say, yeah, and we have an Uber coming, we're just waiting, can you just stay here to make sure that we get into the Uber safely and he doesn't come back? And they're like, yeah, sure, of course. So they hop back in their car, whatever. We're waiting for our Uber on the corner here, right next to the cops. So the guy comes back out of the subway. We're in a little group chatting, and I'm facing him so I could see him, and he's coming back out, and I'm like, guys, this guy's coming back out of the subway, and he had something in his hand, and I was like, guys, this guy has something in his hand, he has something, he's walking back towards us. And he was like dead set on us, like his eyes were locked on us, and he was walking. The construction workers did nothing, like they were just standing there and watching him. And so he's making his way back down this street, and he's coming back down, and he crosses through the construction workers, and he's starting to cross the road. And I'm like, guys, we need to tell the cops right now. So we go over to the cop car, we're like, he's coming across the street, like he's coming, he had a broomstick in his hand, and we're like, he has a broomstick in his hand, help us. So he got so close to us with this broomstick, it was scary before the cops got out. But the cops got out of the car, and he beelined the other way. So the cops hop out of their car right here. There was a little store over here. So he's coming across this way, coming across the street towards us. The cops hop out of the car, and he beelines this way. And so there's a little store over here, and it happened to be unlocked. So he drops the broomstick when the cops hop out of the car, and the cops are in between him and us so that he can't get to us. So he opens the door to the store and just walks in the store. And the cops are like, okay, he went in the store. And I don't know why, but they got back into their car. And then when the cops got back into their car, the guy comes out of the store. The cops see him come back out of the store and open their door. They don't get out, but they open the door to see if he'll start making his way towards us. And he started making his way towards us, so they hop out of the car really fast, block us. And he starts looking around, and he looks on the ground, and there's a brick on the ground. And he grabs the brick, and he raises the brick like over his head, and I'm pretty sure he was gonna throw the brick at us. But the cops whip out a taser, whip out their pepper spray, and they're like, put the brick down, put the brick down. So he drops the brick, and they slam him up against the building, like put him in cuffs, and then he sits on the ground. They didn't take him away in the cop car. He was sitting on the ground just waiting there, and we were like, what are they doing? Like, why don't they take him away in the cop car? So we're still standing on the corner waiting for our Uber, and he's sitting on the ground in cuffs, sitting on the ground screaming at the top of his lungs, screaming at us. I couldn't make out what he was saying. I think this guy was like mentally ill or had schizophrenia or something, because he was just like mumbling words to himself, and he got picked up in an ambulance. They didn't take him away in a cop car, they took him away in an ambulance. So that's what makes me think that this guy was like mentally ill or something was wrong with him, because the cops seem to have known him, and he also got taken away in an ambulance. So that's what makes me think that this guy had has had quite a few encounters with the police and also in the city. So yeah, that was a pretty scary thing. And a funny story, like, well, not funny story, but like a little funny thing in the story is the cops actually let us keep the brick. We were like, hey, can we have this brick that this guy almost hit us with? And he was like, yeah, sure, go ahead, take it. The cops were really nice to us, and I definitely thank them for their help in the situation. We were very lucky to have seen cops, because if we didn't, I don't know, we might not have made it out of the city that night. So thanks to them, and thanks for letting us keep the brick. That's awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. After he got taken away in the ambulance and after we got to keep the brick, we just Ubered back to the hotel, because by the time that whole situation went down, the shoe fly was closed, so we just had to Uber back over, not to the hotel, we had to Uber back over to the college. So we got home around 5 o'clock in the morning, which is crazy, but we made it back to the college safely, so that's really the good thing. It's a crazy story to tell, so I figured it'd be fun to put here on my channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed that story. And if you did enjoy, please give it a thumbs up, and also hit that subscribe button down below if you are not already subscribed. And I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!